Well, it's certainly better winning than losing, huh, Mike? You guys are making a habit out of this. Back-to-back wins. How are you, man?
Doing good, man. Good morning, guys. Yes, man, it's been awesome to see this football team turn things around. Obviously, season started off not the way we expected. We had a bunch of injuries, but we've got some guys back, and we feel like we're rolling right now.
Yeah, you talk about those guys getting back, and most importantly, it's across the offensive line. Ryan Tannehill, who we've expected so much from over the last couple of years, he feels protected. Was that the biggest difference? Obviously, Jay Ajayi as well, but was it protecting your quarterback that had the biggest impact on the winning ways as of late?
Well, I think the one thing about it was just getting the best five guys on the field, and I missed the first 4 games of the season. When I first got back, my first game back, our whole left side of the offensive line was out due to injuries. And so for the past 2 weeks, we've had the same 5 starters in there, guys that we've, penciled in since the offseason, been working together, building that chemistry. And all 5 of us are on the field at the same time these past 2 weeks, and it's paid off really well. And really, Jay's done a great job of making our offensive line look good. He's running the ball really, really hard. If you've watched the games, you see he's breaking through a lot of arm tackles, running guys over on the second level, and when your running back runs that well, it just makes your offensive line look really good.
Opens it up, and he's running well because the O-line's open in holes. Let's not be too humble. You guys have done a great job. Mike Pouncey with us here on Tiki and Tierney. Mike, you've been in Miami now long enough to have seen a couple of different head coaches who all, on varying degrees, failed in terms of trying, I'm not trying to sound overly harsh, but trying to eradicate a losing culture. Coach Gase feels different. Ultimately, we'll find out if it is different. But when you trace back to the first time he addressed you as a team and the early practices, did you notice anything with Coach Gase that maybe gave you confidence that, okay, this is going to be different because it feels different already?
Well, just the energy he brought as a coach. He's a guy that's young, that really understands what it takes to play in the NFL, how hard it is week in and week out. And the scheme that he brought to our offense, it really fits our offensive line. It's very athletic. We run guys sideline to sideline. But just the leadership that he brought to our football team, the culture, he explained to guys that, hey, we've got rid of our front office, we've got rid of coaching staff. The next is players. If you don't go out there and you don't prove that you belong on this football team and belong in the NFL, then we're going to get you out of here. And since he's made that clear to a lot of guys, the guys have stepped up. We've been playing better, practicing better, and he's really changed the culture, man. I enjoyed the process. I've been around for 6 years down here, been on losing teams, and every year I learned something different. But this year has been different. We're just enjoying the process right now.
It's easy to see that when you start winning. It's easier to enjoy the process a little bit better. You guys have the Jets coming up, and you're sitting just a game under 500. We know the Jets have been through some turmoil with their quarterback, and even though Ryan Fitzpatrick played well last week. But do you guys feel like you're still in it? I mean, because one of the thoughts around the NFL before the season started, was that a team is going to catch the Patriots. It's probably the Dolphins, but the way that you started, it feels like you're behind the 8 ball now. But do you still feel like you have a chance at 3-4?
We really do. We really do believe in that. Obviously, we still have a lot of division games left. It's still a long football season. And I feel like our football team put things together at the right time. Right now, we're on a 2-game winning streak going into the bye week. We're going to get guys back healthy, get a healthier football team going into New York, and playing the Jets at home again. And it'd be a good feeling. The Jets have a really good defensive front. They play really well against the run, and so it's going to be a challenge for our offensive line, but we're looking forward to it.
Well, let me clue you in on something here, Mike, because I'm a big Jets fan. Don't worry too much about the Jets because Ryan Fitzpatrick's still playing quarterback, and he's got no arm. So,
yeah, you'll get after him. Yeah, which actually brings me to that side of the ball. I know you don't play full go against the other side, but where's the Ndamukong Suh? I mean, mentally and physically, where is he? Because I feel like something's off with him.
Well, I mean, honestly, I really don't see it. I see a guy that comes in every day that works hard, that, a lot of guys kind of, want to be around because of the way he plays the game of football. We're excited about him. I think he makes our defense what it is. He brings that tough mentality to on the defensive side of the football. And honestly, we think he's playing great.
We're talking to Mike Pouncey with us here on Tiki and Tierney, terrific offensive lineman for the Dolphins. And, I remember watching the highlight. Well, actually, not even just the highlights, but just jumping in and out of the game at Seattle week 1 on the red zone. And I happened to catch that drop, which would have been about an 80-yard touchdown, 74 yards that was dropped. And, you lose that game, and I know there's no consolation points, but you lose by a deuce in Seattle. When you get on the plane and travel back, and it's a long flight, as we know, even in defeat, a big picture here, Mike, did you sense that, okay, we know it's not going to be easy to start winning, but this, again, it felt a little different? Because that was a game that you guys really should have won.
Well, I know the outcome of the game didn't go the way we wanted it, but I think what that did was give our football team confidence. We went into one of the most hostile environments inside the NFL, went up there and played a really good football game, and honestly, we're one play away from winning that football game. We hate to ping football games on one play, but obviously just watching that game, the way it turned around, the momentum, we should have won that game. But it gave our football team confidence, knowing that we can go and play one of the best football teams in the NFL. And it's been showing week in and week out. We've been going against really good football teams and playing really well against them, and we beat the two really good football teams this past weekend.
Yeah, and you just the next game again against the Pats in New England, you guys lost by a touchdown. So the first two games very easily could have been 2 wins instead of 2 losses. And I want to ask you a little bit more specifically about your quarterback. So Tiki and I have been working together for 4 years, and it's a national show. National's obviously different than local, where you kind of you cherry pick the main stories, whether it's Deflategate or Johnny Manziel early on during that whole debacle. And I feel like it's amazing for a guy who hasn't won. We talk about Ryan Tannehill a lot because we're both intrigued with the skill set. We both know he has talent, but the wins haven't been there. You've been in the huddle for a long time with Ryan Tannehill. Do you believe, honestly, Mike, big picture, that Ryan Tannehill's the guy to take you from 7-8 wins to eventually 10-12 and eventually a championship? Is he that guy?
I really do believe it. The reason I believe that, not only is that he's a good football player, but I see the work that he puts in Monday through Saturday. And a lot of people don't get to see that. We see what he does day in and day out, week in and week out. And he comes in and he prepares like a real pro. He's one of the first guys in the building, definitely one of the last guys out of the building. And I appreciate that guy. A lot of fans give him a hard time because they only see on Sunday. They don't see everything else. But
Mike, let me ask you, Mike.
We really do believe in him.
Yeah.
I think that he will take us to the next level, and hopefully it happens this year.
I respect that. But, isn't effort and preparation just part of the job? You don't get bonus points for sticking around. You either win or you lose.
Yes, that is true, but you'd be very surprised of the amount of guys that actually do that in the NFL. And, it was shocking to me, coming from a place where we had a really good football team where guys love football, and then you come into the NFL, and it's just kind of a culture shock because you kind of, like you said, you expect for guys to go out there and play hard and to prepare like a pro because they're getting paid well.
Yeah.
But a lot of times that isn't the case. And when you see a guy that does it that way, your respect for him goes out of the roof because he doesn't take advantage of being in the NFL. It's a privilege to be here. It's not something that just happens for guys. And I think a lot of guys kind of lose that sense of it's a privilege of being in the NFL and you need to prepare and play that way. And if we had a lot of guys that did it that way, we win a lot of football games.
It's interesting you say that about some guys in the locker room. I know what you're feeling because I remember back in my day, it was like some guys are just happy to be there. Some guys, it's just a job for them, and they're not taking it passionately and seriously enough. A guy who did take it passionately and seriously enough just retired today. We had Michael Irvin on just a little bit ago. Here's what he said about Jay Ajayi and Arian Foster.
Ran that boy Arian Foster right into retirement. I love Aaron. Aaron's a bad boy, but Ajayi said, "Go get your butt out of here."
All right.
First of all, what do you think about Arian Foster's retirement? I know you guys got him really at the end. He was a compromised player physically, but obviously his career was great for the short amount of time that he was healthy. What do you guys think about his retirement? Because he announces it in the middle of the season, which is kind of odd.
You know what? It was shocking. Just because being around Arian, the person that he was, he's a great person, a great football player, and a guy that we really appreciate having in our locker room. And at the end of the day, you can't tell a guy how his body feels, but I respect someone more that if their mind's not all the way there, that they just let it go. Because when you're not all the way there, you not only injure yourself, but you can injure other people. And so, I wish Aaron was still here because he's a hell of a player. I enjoy watching him throughout his career. But we wish him nothing but the best. But I respect someone more that can stand up and say, hey, I'm just not there all the way. I don't want to put anybody else at risk, nor myself. And you just get more respect for those kind of guys.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But the crux here is that you're not going to – you're going to miss him out because of what you were talking about in the locker room. But on the field, Jay Ajayi has been unbelievable. What was it early in the year that he was – I don't want to say missing, but he lost the starting job in camp to Arian Foster, who's coming off injury. What changed with him?
Well, I think for Jay, he needed that. I think it was a wake-up call for him. Not to say that he wasn't prepared to be our starting running back at the time, but for some guys, they need a wake-up call just to remind them like, hey, this is a privilege, man. It's an opportunity for you to go out there and make your mark as a football player. And for him, I've seen guys get demoted before. and they went the other direction. You know, they went in the tank. You know, they weren't the same player for him. He just came back to practice. He worked harder and harder, and guys respected that out of him. And you see how it's turning over for his play now. It's worked out great for him. So I think Coach made a great call by doing that. You know, at the time, Arian was a veteran guy, and you know, he was a guy that everybody in the locker room believed in. And then, you know, Jay got demoted, and it worked out best for Jay for it to happen that way.
That's Mike Pouncey with us here on Tiki and Tierney. Mike, you've been there. Going back to 2011, so you were there for the entire LeBron, Wade, Bosh run. Yeah. So, and by the way, I'm assuming you're a big basketball fan, right?
Yeah, I'm a Lakers fan, though.
You're a Lakers fan. All right, well, the rebuilding is underway. You got some good young talent, Ingram and obviously Russell and those guys, and Kobe's the Mamba, and we're going to miss him. But, I mean, it's got to feel kind of weird without Dwayne Wade in South Beach right now, man. That's a big void.
It really is. You know, Dwayne not only was he a great football player, but he was big into our community down here, and a lot of people respected him. They loved him as an athlete down here. We're going to miss him greatly because, you know, what he brought to the city during basketball season. But, you know, we wish him nothing but the best. When LeBron and all those guys are down here, I mean, it made our city magical, man. To win championships down here, to see the people come out and support, it only makes us want to go out there and do it for those guys and do it for the city, because we know that if you win football games down here, that they'll love you to death.